everybody. Day 19 on plan. So I'm 2.5 weeks now back on plan. Sorry for the radio silence over the last few days. I haven't done a video for a bit. I actually have been in quite a bit of pain. I've had to be back at the GP for yet another health issue. Would you believe it? Honest to goodness, it's actually kind of linked to coming off one of my meds. That is a good thing. I was coming off one of my meds that I've been having for my hemicrania continua. I shan't bore you with all the details, but it was masking. It's an anti-inflammatory and it's been masking something else that's been going on. Basically, I've got a shoulder rotator cuff injury. Boy, is it sore. If any of you have ever had it, it's causing me, I can't sleep at night, I can't lie on my left side, bloody sore. So I've got to go and have a steroid injection at some point in that. Lovely. So I'm rather tired and rather uncomfortable. And I'm allergic to other anti-inflammatories, so I can't even take anything for it. Anyway, that's why I've had a bit of radio silence with the videos, because I've been struggling a little bit with that and rather tired. Today's video is following a conversation I was having with my daughter. I'm still 100% on plan though, by the way, despite the pain, and despite that, bloody proud of myself I am. My daughter was on plan with me 4 years or so ago. Having had some mental health issues herself, which she's openly spoken about, and in fact we did a video. If you go back on my YouTube channel, I've got hundreds of videos on my YouTube channel, and if you go back, you might find one that she and I did, and it was a fab little video that she did for me, and we did a sort of chat together. And anyway, we were talking together yesterday, and we were talking about how the two of us, when we commit, when we make up our minds to go on plan, we both have times when we want to, don't get me wrong, we both have times when we want to go on plan and we can't, like anyone. We have those conversations in our head of we want to diet and then for some reason we can't commit to it. We're just as human as anyone else. We have those struggles. But when we finally commit, we just get on and do it. And we were talking about when she was on plan 4 years ago or so, she just knuckled her down and did it. She lost about 3 stone. She did step 2 and step 3 and lost about 3 stone. And she didn't faff around, she just did it. And I didn't have any sort of picking off plan or anything like that. When I lost my 7.5 stone, I did exactly the same. I did, we had the old TDR in those days, and I did TDR and then step 2 and then worked up the steps. And I just did it. I didn't have any picking. I did it 100% on plan. I've shared today in my client groups Mark Hannigan's 100% rule, and which followed on actually from the conversation I had yesterday with my daughter. It got me thinking about that blinking brilliant video that Mark Hannigan did, again, quite a few years ago. Go on YouTube and put in, search for it. It's a really good video. I think it's called Hannigan's Wisdom of the 100% Rule or something like that. You'll find it if you YouTube search it, a really good one. And just our chat got me thinking about it. Anyway, Ellie and I were talking about, my daughter and I were talking about how we managed to stick 100% to plan. And I thought I'd do a video about that. And we were talking about how we did it. And we were talking about 2 things. We were talking about, is it just because she's my daughter? We're both quite stubborn people. Is it that we're just very bloody minded, stubborn people, and we have that common denominator that makes us similar? Is it that we're just very stubborn, and once we make up our mind to do something, that's something about our personality? Is it that? Is it that we are both able to, and it's certainly something we share, that we are both able to see the positivity of the change? So if you've seen my previous videos, this time round, whilst I'm on plan, I have, and I still feel it, I am still gleeful about being on plan. Every time I have one of my products, I am utterly gleeful about being back on plan. And I don't, in fact I do know, I have been pondering with my clients and with myself and with my posts to you guys, is that because I have for 2 years, as part of my treatment for my hemicrania continua, seen my weight go on and not been allowed, because of my treatment and my meds, to be able to do anything about it and to be able to diet, and I've not been able to be on plan. And in fact, any sort of attempt to do anything about it just didn't make a jot of difference anyway, and probably a bit to do with the hypothyroidism, as I now realise. Now I'm finally able to be back on plan, and I've had certain drugs changed around and have had this diagnosis of hypothyroidism, and I'm on the right treatment. I'm seeing it will start to work. The joy I'm feeling, I have such a positive attitude that I'm seeing things from a very positive perspective, rather than the God, this is awful, I can't have cake, and this is just such a slog. I don't see it like that. I see it as having been deprived it for so long. I'm still so gleeful about the positivity of what I'm doing, but I don't think it's that. I've always had I'm a very positive person anyway. I don't know whether you're able to see that in the videos that I do, but people often say that about me, that I'm a very, no matter what sort of thing happens in my life, I've always been able to flip perspective, and that's certainly one of the facets of my personality, that I take a challenge and I flip it to see what am I learning about it, what perspective, how can I flip the perspective so that I can benefit from it rather than make me feel even more miserable. Not always, I have to say. Anyway, I'm rambling. The other thing that we both realise that we do when we're dieting is we say to ourselves, when we are thinking about potentially eating something off plan, we say to ourselves, without even really realising we're doing it, it's a subconscious thing that we're doing, we think it's just not worth it. That the short-term gain of eating whatever it is we're thinking of eating, the biscuit or the cake, is just not worth it. That the short-term gain, the short-term pleasure that we might get from it is, and this is true in maintenance as well, I definitely think this in maintenance, the positives that you get from that just do not, they're just not worth it. The positives I gain from staying on plan just outweigh any positives I might get from eating any cake, and the positives I gain from staying on plan outweigh the negative feelings I get from having to say no to the cake or the biscuits or whatever. Absolutely. So that's shifting that perspective again, isn't it? But finally, we decided that what we do is that we just make a decision. Ultimately, we just make a decision and we stick to it. And that sounds like such a corny thing to say, but this is going back to Mark Hannigan's video again of the 100% rule. We just decide we are going to do it. And it is 100% commitment to what we want to do. And it's not that I say to myself, well, I could have that cake or biscuit or whatever. I don't even consider having it. I am on plan. I'm having my 3 products and my water at the moment, and that's my day. And I do not even consider having cake or chocolate or anything else. I just don't. It doesn't even enter my consciousness at the moment. I don't consider what the family are having. That is just not something, I don't even think, oh, it would be nice to have that. It just doesn't even come into my awareness right now. I just don't have that. And that is part of my 100% rule right now. It just isn't even in my awareness as something I do at the moment. I just don't. So I'm fully committed to doing what I'm doing right now, and I'm 100% committed to this. And something Mark Hannigan said when I rewatched his video yesterday, that really leapt out at me, and I'm going to do another video about this in the coming days when I get a moment, is he said that he talked about congruence, and it really leapt out at me. I am fully congruent to what I'm doing right now. And if you don't understand the word congruent, Google it, look it up, because I think that is the key to when someone is not fully committed to being on plan. If you're struggling, you are not congruent with being on plan, and that is the key. And I am utterly, fully, 100% congruent with what I'm doing right now, which is why I'm so happy to be doing it. I am utterly, fully committed and happy to be doing this right now, which is why I'm successful at doing it.